Hi, this is Jerry with Subaru Crosstrek Central. Today's video will be the install of a Torklift Ecohitch hidden 2-inch trailer receiver hitch on a 2016 Subaru Crosstrek. The Ecohitch is a unique receiver in that it's totally hidden from view behind the rear bumper and uses a small knockout panel on the Crosstrek in the rear bumper fascia for access to the receiver. So when you're not using the receiver, you just put the little access panel back into the rear bumper, pops in, and covers up the hitch for a totally stock look. Another big advantage of the Ecohitch over every other hitch is that it doesn't hang down below the rear bumper and reduce ground clearance, or what off-road enthusiasts refer to as departure angle, which is the maximum ramp angle your car can descend without damage. So approach angle is the same kind of thing on the front of the car. It's the maximum angle of a ramp that a vehicle can climb from a horizontal plane without interference. So approach and departure angles are indicators of off-road ability. They indicate how steep obstacles such as rocks or logs the vehicle can negotiate according to its body shape alone. So a lot of folks have purchased the Crosstrek over its 3-inch shorter brother, the Impreza, for the added ground clearance. And that's the main difference between the two cars. The Ecohitch is the one hitch that's not going to compromise your car's off-road ability. That's why it was my choice for my car. So let me start off by saying I've used Torklift products in the past. When I had a large cab-over camper, I mounted to a full-size truck using their frame mounts and their fast gun camper shackles. Their products are well constructed and durable. I never had any problems with any of the products I used of theirs. The Ecohitch just seems like it follows that tradition. The receiver is built very strong, and after I unpacked it and looked at the finish on it, that powder coat finish on this thing is the best I've ever seen on any receiver. So with that intro, let's get started. So here are the package contents. The Torklift Ecohitch for the Crosstrek, and the bag of hardware, which is bolts, nuts, retaining washers, instructions, and a fish wire to get the bolts through the frame, which you'll see later. So here is the Crosstrek that we're going to be installing the hitch on today. There's two methodologies for the install. One is to remove the entire rear bumper fascia off the back of the car so that the mounting bolts can be inserted through the rear frame holes. And the other methodology is to remove some of the interior insulation, styrofoam pieces, and enlarge some holes beneath those and fish the bolts down through the frame that way. And that's the way we're going to be doing it today. The only other part of the installation besides that is removing this rear bumper plug and cutting out a piece of plastic behind it. So the first order of business, I have removed the muffler instead of just lowering it. It's so easy to take off. I decided just to remove the muffler, get it out of the way instead of lowering it down and having it in the way. So there are two rubber plugs on each side that need to be removed, the two outer ones, not the middle one, and that is where the hitch will bolt on. And that's where we need to fish the wire up to catch the bolts from up above in the trunk area and pull them down through this area. These plugs just pull out with your fingers. So if your instructions look like this on page 6, figure 6, the solid arrow is pointing to the hole they say to enlarge to pass the bolts through. Now this is the front of the car, would be this way towards the top of the page, and that is not the hole you want to enlarge. You want to enlarge this back hole in the rear compartment. So these are the plastic covers that are over those holes. You take these two off back here, and the bolts that are going to go down into the Ecohitch, one of them, the forward one, will be located pretty much under this hole right here, and the rear one will be back here. So if you enlarge this rear hole, you'll be able to see up to this hole and see back to this hole to pass the fish wire down through there. So this is the one you want to enlarge. It's the one I did, and you'll see that in the pictures. So here we are in the rear compartment with the styrofoam pieces moved. On each side, the instructions for this kit say to remove this sticker and this sticker, and that we're going to be enlarging, this is towards the front of the vehicle, enlarging this hole and feeding the wire down through it, but this isn't right. Instructions are wrong. We want to remove these two stickers. This one we're not going to be using. These two stickers I've already removed. This is the hole that we're going to be feeding pieces down through, the rearmost hole of the vehicle on each side. So we've got those stickers removed and these stickers removed on this side. That one's still intact. These two stickers are removed. So we're going to be enlarging these two rear holes here just with a pair of tin snips so that we can fit the bolt and mostly this backing plate down through that hole. So here we are in the back of the vehicle again. Instead of using tin snips, I decided to use my hole saw. It's a 1-inch hole saw, and enlarge the holes with that. These are the pieces that came out of there. They weren't perfectly centered, but they're fine. And I'll just put something over that, probably the sticker. If the sticker doesn't fit, I will just find something a little bit bigger to glue in place over that. But that's where we'll be feeding the bolts and retainer plates down through. So here we are back feeding the fish down through the holes. Instead of feeding it up through the bottom, the fish wire, I'm going to be feeding it down through the top because I can see the bottom holes down through the frame. If you see that, I'm going to feed it down into that hole and out the bottom of the car. So now we have it out the bottom of the car and we're ready to put the bolt on and feed it down through there. So here is the bolt and the washer and the backing plate on the fish wire. I'm going to be feeding this stuff down through the hole. And pulling it down through the bottom of the car. Hopefully. There we go. Number one in place. The other ones will be just like that. So let's push this rear bumper plug out, and we'll have to enlarge, or actually cut out the plastic behind there with the Dremel tool. Okay, so here we go with the Dremel and the plastic cutting bit. So this part is removing the fascia hangers, bumper fascia hangers. These clips pop out. Easily. And the top clip pops out. And the hanger gets removed like that. So we'll take both of those off. So here we are. The bumper fascia retaining clips have been removed from underneath the bumper. The bumper hole, rear hole, has been dremelled out and the plug removed. The fish holes have been retaped up, and I put some plugs in that I had laying around in these rear holes that I used the hole saw in. Those are all done, and we are ready to bolt the hitch up underneath to the bolts that are hanging down. And here we are bolting up the hitch. This will show one side of it anyway. Being very, very careful. Push it all the way up and hold it up against the frame.
Line's good.
Got it?
It's a lot easier to just put the nut on, and then I'm going to do one, and I'll take that nut off, and I'll leave it. Ow.
How's your sight?
It's good. It's gonna be done right now. I just put the nut on on one, and then I let that hold it on, and then I put the washers and shit on the other.
Oh.
You know what I mean? There, nice one.
You got both of them on?
Yeah.
All right.
Are you good?
Yep. Now, center it and tighten it up. Okay, so the hitch has been put into place. It's centered. It's not tightened up yet, but it was difficult to video holding it up and putting the nuts in place. The bolts, nuts, and washers are in place on each side, and we're ready to tighten it up. So here we are. The install is complete. The 4 bolts that mount the Ecohitch to the frame of the Crosstrek have been torqued to 75 foot-pounds, and we're ready for use, or to put the bumper cover back in. And just a note on the bumper cover, the stock cover that we took out for the install can be used. In this case, it's a khaki colored for my khaki Crosstrek, or there's an optional Subaru part used on the STI and WRX that also fits in. It's about $6 at your local Subaru dealer. Either one will fit in. You just snap these in, and to remove it, you just pull these tabs on the top down from the rear. Reach up underneath, pull these tabs down, and it will pop out of the rear. So let's mount the black cool one, and just pops right in. that's it. The tab is in place. That's what that one looks like. And let's try using it and carry something around the neighborhood, see how it works.